All right. Well, welcome to the first ever episode of the Banned Podcast, the podcast where we talk about stuff that should get us banned and all that other good stuff. Yes. Banned from everything. Banned from life. And I'd like to talk yes, and I'd also like to talk about our very important sponsor, Pisswiser. When you want your piss to be smarter than you, drink up. Oh yeah. No. We're banned. Like if you like a travel ban. Like you're barred from like going places. You're banned. You do. What do you have? Do you have a dildo up your ass? Uh huh. Dairy Angels? What about him? I do. He was 1 year ahead of me. Suji's Coffee, not a sponsor. Grocery Outlet, not a sponsor. Talk about getting banned. But did he like open up the mayonnaise jars and the mustard stuff too? Or is he just like, huh? Honestly, that's a pretty boss ass move. That's something. There's this one bar. There's this one bar I got banned from back when I was in the club because we went to like this really like out of spot bar in Turlock, and I was in the club, right? And we're on the prospects and everything, right? And yeah. Anyways, part of this club, we're hanging out. We're having a good time, and so this girl, I was talking to this girl, right? And She's a bartender or whatever. I think it was a bartender or waitress, some weird shit like that, right? We're all like, being men, and stuff like that, talking about our fucking dicks and stuff like that, right? And I told her I told her I have an 8-inch dick, right? And she's like, yeah, right. And I'm like, you want to see it? I'll pull it out right now. And the guy's like, he won't pull it out. And I'm like,
Oh my god.
so, no, I'm a grower, but in this specific case, I did. Yeah, exactly. I need to look at some nudes, some tasteful nudes. Anyways, pretty much. So, essentially, that one thing led to another, and I whipped it out and caused a pretty good scene. And then I was immediately escorted out of the premises, and so I just watched the bikes while they were in there drinking their beers. What's up? No. Well, it's kind of like getting called out. It's one of those things where I can see at the end of the day for me, I'm always very proud of myself because I can say that at least I went for it. You know what I mean? I didn't think about doing something. I didn't ponder the idea of what if. I just went out and did it. You know, whether it works out at the end of the day or not is kind of subjective, but I can always say I went for it. Just like the time I almost got pulled over by CHP, going like 100 miles an hour. Yes, I was going 100 miles an hour in Modesto down a open street around 8 a.m. and CHP almost fooled me over.
Yo, I got a story for y'all about the time my boys almost got me caught up grabbing marijuana.
Oh yeah, you should tell a story, Alex. I like when you tell stories. You really do have more of his voice. Oh, I actually no. I think I have more of his voice. 'Cause I have like the more deeper, resonating voice, and you have like the more a little bit higher voice. Like I have the more sensible tone. You know, when you're doing one thing to another, and then this happens and that happens. So arguably, you have to go to this. It's pretty close, isn't it?
so he had to use both doors to exit. Now, what apparently he said happened was that he opened the door kind of hard, kind of harshly, and it made a big creaking noise that scared some of the girls back there, and they said that he kicked open the door. And with that, he kind of looked back, swore a little more to the point where the original owner kind of looked at him and said, "All right, you're banned from the store." And that is Nate's story, supposed story on the Broken Buildings in Niles, which Calvin and I thought to be true until recently. Calvin.
Yes, that's pretty much what happened. Up until the point where, um, essentially, she confirmed most of it, to the surprise of us, along with the fact that the idea to where Nate thought the order was canceled, when in fact they told him to hold, and so that being the idea of holding essentially meant the fact that it had gone through. At that point, he promptly hung up the phone, and such is life.
So he lied, like usual.
To put it in more simpler terms, you could say that he told a white lie. Yes, he exaggerated a great deal
Oh,
of
I
it.
knew that. I could tell you that right from anything. Anything that
Because most of it
fucking
ends up being true from the girl who owns the place, but a lot of it was kind of taken out of context.
And this is the one by Bremer, right?
No, this is the one by Niles.
Now, I do want to say really fast, I kind of want to ask about how my Ed Bullion storytelling was.
Your Ed Bullion storytelling is very, very good, I'd say. You just need to work on the voice.
Now, see, that's the thing that I can't. I can't really do his voice now. I can do a lot of his mannerisms or maybe the way that he phrases words, but I can't really get a hold of his voice.
You just need to go in your deeper, like, more.
Oh, this is Nate. This is Nate. This is Nate.
We're not,
And I fucking mad at everything. Arr!
we're not doing a Nate voice, Alex. We're doing a Ed Bullion voice.
Who dat?
And that is why, that is why. Everything. Jesus Christ.
Now, I don't think me personally. I don't think that I have any stories about getting banned myself in places.
Oh wait, you know what? I do have a story about getting banned. The time I got banned from the Great Mall.
Now, how does one get banned from the Great Mall?
All I know is my buddy was doing skateboard tricks, and he got his board taken away. Then he decided to say fuck you to a police officer, which then the police officer guy took us to the back, called my mama, and I was 15 at the time, and proceeded to tell me I never come back there again, which was a complete bullshit lie because I went there the next couple weeks later with my grandma, and no one said shit. So fuck you, Great Mall, for your stupid shit. You can't ban me. There
Well,
you go.
you see, that's a great story and all, but you didn't really tell a story. You kind of just told us what happened. There's no story to that. Like,
No, I
were
don't
you
think
inside the...
stories.
We're not asking you to exaggerate. We're asking you to tell the story, to set the scene, to actually let us be there.
Oh my god. You want me to? Oh my god. Okay. Alright. 10:30 in the morning, I get a call from my friend Salvador.
Perfect.
My friend Salvador
Mm-hmm.
tells me, let's go to the Great Mall. My mom is going shopping over there, and she has Anaya and the kids, and I'm not trying to be fucking bored with all these people. So come and hang out with me. At the time, me and Salvador were hanging out a lot. We were like homies. Geez, I was at his house spending the night. Pretty much best friends, brothers. Anyway, so I was like, fuck it, why not? I never been to the Great Mall before. So, we go to the Great Mall. At first, I'm thinking, this shit's really ghetto already. I don't like this place. We go inside, and I'm like, gosh dang, this place is huge. Well, to my surprise, Salvador has his skateboard, and his mom let him bring it. I don't know what she was thinking. He was holding a skateboard because at the time he was a scene kid. And, well, I was a wannabe scene kid, I guess you can say, but he looked more of it than I did. Anyway,
He was one of them classic Mexican emos. I see.
pretty much. We used to listen to fucking Curse the Bell on repeat. Anyway, we're going to the store. There's this one candy shop. I can't fucking remember the name of it. But Anaya, his little niece, she had to have been 4 at the time. But she wanted candy. And she wanted some lollipop thing. And he was like, no, you can't have that. Not until you eat until later. And so we went to go down the hall, and as we were going down the hall, Salvador decided it would be cool if we just ripped on his board and fucking zoom all the way down to the next door. Which, to my surprise, he got away with it for a while. But towards the end of the day, I would say maybe 2 hours in, we decided to go back to the main gate. Well, now Salvador has gotten his board again, and he ditched me again. And I'm like, dude, fucking come back. And he's laughing at me. And he goes and he rides right past a damn mall cop.
So,
Ta-da!
so he rode past Paul Blart.
Well, no, the guy was he was a skinny black guy. He had gray hair, so he was getting older. But he radioed in some type of shit. Next thing you know, 3 more other mall cops come. And now we have fucking 4 or 5 mall cop guys surrounding us, talking to us. And now they're questioning us, asking us what we're doing. Why are we being disruptive? I was his friend, so of course I got pulled into that shit. You know, fucking guilty by association. And so I remember going in the back, since I was young and still not an adult, they had to call my mom. And boy was she pissed. Not to mention, they had to call Mrs. Martinez, and she was in the damn store. So, let's just say that was the most awkward ride home. Because my mom grounded me for a week and a half, and I wasn't allowed to leave the house, only to go to school and back. I couldn't play video games, and more importantly, I couldn't listen to damn music. It was the worst time of my life. The end.
Beautiful, beautiful, great story.
True story.
Great story. I have one, not from being banned, but from a time when I was also prospecting, where I almost got arrested for, um, how I don't know how you would put this, but I'd say reckless driving. I'd say would be the proper term for it.
Well, that can't be any different than how you drive every day.
No, no, it was very different. It's very different. See, it was all right. Let me paint the picture for you. Now, what was going on this day was we were in my club. We were having an event. No, this is a podcast. Shut the fuck up. Now, you do whatever you want to do, but I'll end up muting you if you start talking about the game. Anyways, essentially, what ended up happening this day, we're running an event for the club, a chapter that's in, I believe this chapter was somewhere in the Bay. I forget what chapter it was in the Bay, but we have a few chapters in the Bay. And
What do you mean two chapters?
what I mean by chapters is different sections of the club itself, such as let's take the Hells Angels for example. They have the main chapter, which is the Oakland chapter. Then they have the San Jose chapter. Then they have the Frisco chapter and the Daly City chapter. They're just different sections of the same club in different areas.
Damn.
So, essentially, we have two chapters, I believe, and in my club we have three chapters, but the two chapters in the Bay. One of them was having their event in Mountain House. So, me being a pros yeah, me being a prospect, I met up with one of the guys that were heading over there, and I was going to help set up for the event. Now, I was meeting him very early in the morning, however, around 8 o'clock in the morning. I got up around 6, got ready and everything, and threw my stuff on. And I was running just a tad bit behind, but I figured I'd make it up with my speed, because I usually drive pretty fast. I ride even faster. Um, anyways, worst case scenario comes along, and I get stuck behind a train. Something that's very common to happen out here is you get stuck behind a train for a good length of time, especially in the morning. And me being the frantic prospect that I am,
Or AC's transit.
boxcar.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, so that one went, that just,
50 minutes.
exactly, so it just went on and on and on and on and on and on. So,
Oh boy.
so by this point, I'm running pretty behind. Probably about 20 minutes behind at this point. So, there's this big open stretch of road. It's called Kiernan Road. It's in Modesto. It goes on for miles. Just miles of just straight. Like, you could do races down this road. But people don't, and I'll get to why people don't in a minute here. So, me thinking the way I am, I was like, I gotta speed up. I gotta make sure I'm on time. I don't want to get reprimanded for being late to this meeting and everything with my sergeant at arms. And so I'm blasting down the road, going about 80, and I'm looking at my watch, going, gotta kick it up to high gear. So I've flipped it on the high gear and started going 100 miles an hour down Kiernan because there's no cars on the road. It's 7 in the morning. No one's here. It's a weekend. No one really cares. So I'm blasting down the road, and all of a sudden, out the corner of my eye, I can see a car coming up next to me, and I'm like, huh, this this is interesting. This could be very fun. I could have a challenger. All right. Couple more seconds pass, and the car gets a little bit closer on my side. And I'm like, And I notice one very distinct feature about this car. This car had a rally front end on it. You know anything about cars, there's only one type of car that has a rally front end on it. That would be a cop car. So, a couple more seconds pass, and I look over again, and his car is in the position to where his driver's side door is matched with where I'm sitting, so we're looking directly at each other. And I see blatantly across the side of the car, California Highway Patrol. And so at this point, me being as dumb as I am, I start smiling and laughing because I think in my mind at the time that they don't have jurisdiction in actual towns. They only have jurisdiction on the highway. So I'm like, this guy can't get me for shit. Why do I have to worry? And mind you, too, I'm a prospect, and I have a big California bottom rocker on my vest. So he knows I'm a part of a club. He knows. And I'm going 100 miles an hour. He could easily just do away with me. Lock me up, put my bike in impound. No second thoughts. And he just stares me down, like giving me the biggest frown you could ever imagine, like this motherfucker type shit, you know what I mean? And I look back at him while he's doing that, and because I thought I'm a cocky motherfucker, and I thought he didn't have any jurisdiction in this area, I gave him the old head nod, being like, "What's up?" And then he just shook his head and blasted going 120 miles an hour in his fucking Crown Vic. And I'm like, yes. I don't know how, but I defeated this cop today. I come to find out, about 5 minutes later, going down the road, same road, there is a CHP station about a half mile away from where we were. And he was just getting off work. And odds are he didn't want to do the paperwork to throw my ass in jail and impound my bike. He wanted to go home. And come to find out, on top of that, is that the CHP have jurisdiction everywhere. Doesn't matter where you are, when you are. They have jurisdiction all over California, not just on the highways. So that's the story of how I almost lost not only my motorcycle license, my bike, and thrown in jail, all on the same day.
Wow.
Oh yeah. I believe someone fell asleep. I think someone needs a little pick me up.
No one fell asleep.
I think someone fell asleep in this band podcast.
Brendan's still awake.
No, he passed out. I can guarantee.
Told you.
And who do I hear breathing like they're sleeping?
Well, that's what I told
Oh,
Might have been sleeping, actually. He woke up. He said that.
all right. And what was I just talking about, Brendan?
you. Shit, what were we just talking about? I was like, I just forgot.
See, you were asleep. Just admit it.
I think it might have been asleep for like 5 minutes, honestly.
Yeah. See. Okay. All right. At least you admit it.
Well, at least he woke up.
No, I called his phone.
And then I'm wondering, guys, why is he calling me? He's right here telling me a story.
Mm-hmm. Because you fell asleep.
Accurate.
All right. Next level discussion. What kind of tits do you guys like?
I honestly prefer.
Big double D's. But I like to smack them.
One person at a time. One person at a time.
I will take the opportunity to go first. Big, I'd say slightly big enough to where I can kind of,
Mm-hmm.
grab it with my hand.
Mm-hmm.
But then small enough to where it's not just bouncing crazy.
Is that it for your preference?
It's more of my preference because I'm more of an ass man.
So you're like Jimmy the Jew.
A little bit, huh?
Except he likes his girls to have like A caps or B caps.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Is that all you had to add to that?
Yeah. Alex, what do you think?
What? I just told you. I like big double D's so I can suck on them and smack them and fucking have sex with them and rub them like real good.
How's that work?
Oh, it's so it works.
Does it though?
Oh yeah.
Huh. Please explain.
Yes, please.
Oh man, this dude. supposed to talk about the video game, but not completely.
So please explain how does that work for you?
Oh, first girlfriend ever did that shit to me. Felt good. It was like a warm blanket.
That's all I have to say about that.
I'm sorry, I'm very focused on this shit.
See, and this is why I didn't. This is why I didn't want you to be doing this because
I'm getting tired too, so like, that's why I need to do something. Otherwise, I would have fell asleep. It's the only reason why I'm doing this shit.
sleep isn't
No,
necessary.
there's nothing wrong with small titties too. I mean, small titties are pretty good too.
What about nipple preference?
I like when girls have their nips pierced, bro. I think that's hot as shit.
I don't really have a preference, honestly.
Well, I mean, there are some chicks that you will meet that do have like just massive, just you know, tits versus tit to boob ratio.
Oh my god. Big
Then,
pepperoni nipples.
and so you're saying that you don't have a preference, Brendan? So what if it's like 90% nip and like 10%? How would you feel about that?
I'd be rather more impressed. Huh. There has to be some Guinness Book of World Record.
Now, see, imagine that, but imagine they're double D's. Imagine that. At that point, you have to have some kind of preference. You can't just stand for that.
Huh.
I mean, again, I feel like tits are like, they come in many varieties. There's there's saggy tits. There's very perky tits. There's fucking tiny tiny tits. There's fuck, man. I mean, there's like big grande titties. You know, like it's like a buffet, man. You just gotta pick the right one. Suits you.
Very well said.
And quite frankly, I don't have a preference either.
I kind
But
of.
I will say this: I'm more.
You're more what?
I am definitely more of an ass guy.
Man, you guys. I guess it's 2 out of 3 is the ratio because I am not really that big of an ass guy.
You're more of a titty guy.
Mm-hmm. So I do have a preference.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I like about 20 to 30% on the ratio from of tit to boob, and then I also like anything above a D. Below a D gets kind of varied, but as long as you're not a C, as long as you're not lower than a C, we should be okay. What's the biggest What's the biggest cup size you guys ever had to deal with?
If I, double D's.
Double D?
No, triple D's. Yeah, my girlfriend's like, yeah, let's fucking triple D.
Brendan, what about you? Brendan,
Please don't fall asleep again.
Brendan, what about you?
What the fuck did you fall asleep again?
Jesus Christ. Yep, yep.
Oh, it's because I drank earlier today and I drove home and then dude, I'm passing out now.
Well, man, you were the one who pretty much wanted to do this with me, so I mean,
You're drinking and driving? Are you an idiot?
Dude, I drove home on like 4 shots, bro.
dude,
Or no,
I drove home on 15 from Fremont.
ice is really like, was I really anything crazy?
I've driven home on 15 shots from Fremont.
Well, you're not a lightweight.
Listen, man, I'm lying.
Are you then?
Yeah, really not. Because I had the shots I was fucking on.
All right, Brent.
That's really dumb.
All right, Brennan. Well, question of the moment being, what is the biggest cup size you've ever had to deal with?
Biggest cup size?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you remember that video cup?
Which video?
Me and you know,
His ex-partner.
No. I do remember the.
she had some, she had some top heaviness to her.
But my question,
Really big. I just don't know what size they were.
my question being is, what's the
They
cup
had to be
size?
easily like C cups.
Oh no, Alex, these were a lot bigger. I had to use both my hands.
Oh
Or just,
boy. Then maybe triple D's.
and even that, dude, it still was bigger.
Fuck.
I
Triple D's? Is that even possible?
well, he doesn't really go to D at that point. It more or less goes to E.
See, I
Is
want to
that
see how
even
big.
a cup size? Hold on, I'm looking up all girl cup sizes.
Well, while you're doing
So bad, should I?
while you're doing that, I'll just go ahead and say it, the biggest I've ever had to deal with, and that is G, my friend. I've had to deal with a G cup.
See, I want to say what E cup is where this girl was at though.
I really doubt
No, the highest cup there is triple D.
that's not.
Oh,
It
it's way
goes
higher.
it goes up. It goes way higher than that.
I'm looking at the chart right now.
You're looking at the wrong chart.
It says A, B, C, D, 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 double D. Triple D.
It goes way higher than that. Trust me, it does.
I'm looking into this. Cup
Oh, so
size D.
they're only gonna make bras for girls that have that have
Dude,
this
cup
size of
size
breasts.
D does not exist.
Yes, they do.
My god, that's a big tit.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure that's what I dealt with.
You need to verify this if you can.
Sure, let me go ahead and send her a text saying, "Hey, how big are your boobs?"
Just
I don't know if that's a good idea, my dude.
you just gotta say like, hey, what's your cup size?
Alex, God,
That's all you gotta do.
I try so hard to make my sarcasm obvious, and I still get does.
Sarcasm. Bro, I'm gonna tell something that I never told you guys before. But I have part Asperger's, so I take shit literally.
That's not what Asperger's is, but okay.
It's a form of autism.
But that's not how it works, though.
Well, that's what my doctor tells me. What the hell? Why is this shit not working?
Why is a what?
I mean, I was in special ed all my life.
That doesn't mean you're autistic.
No, I have ADHD, ADD, and fucking yeah, part autism and dyslexic.
I doubt most of those. I think doctors are just nowadays are labeling people as things when they really aren't because they're just too lazy to figure out what's really wrong with someone.
Well, that's how I've always lived my. And I know I'm dyslexic because when I read, oh god, I can't spell for shit.
I get like that sometimes, but that doesn't mean I'm dyslexic.
But you guys even tell me all the time, oh, what the fuck are you saying?
That's just because I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's like just like we give Dave shit.
Though I do suck at spelling, like really bad.
Well, just like we give Dave shit.
Embarrassing.
It's like,
Just think of it for me this way. When I try to hit on a girl and I misspell a word and then she grammar corrects me, you know how awkward that is? It's pretty fucking awkward.
it's not.
Not to mention she laughs at me after that, so that makes it even worse. Like this girl I'm talking to right now. I won't say her name. I'm just gonna call her R. But
Ramon,
she makes fun of me.
Rhonda,
She makes fun of me
Rashid,
that I don't know how to fucking read or spell.
Robin.
Ew.
What other
Don't
names?
use these damn names.
What other names start with R?
No, I don't want to put. If she watches this, I don't want her to know about this.
What other names start with R, Brendan? Help me out here. What other girl names?
Brenda fell asleep again.
Did he really?
That's my only explanation.
Right here.
Yo, so like, what other names start with R for girls?
Huh?
Girl names that start with R. Let's go.
Rhonda.
I already said it. I already said it.
Ramon.
I already said it.
Ruby.
Oh, Ruby. Is it Ruby?
No.
Ruth.
Oh, hey, that's a good one.
What kind of fucking name is that?
Rachel. Rita. Rose. Ray.
Teacher.
Rebecca. Rana.
Anyway,
Renee.
this person, well, I'm gonna give us a name. We're gonna find out and see what happens.
Hearns.
Yeah.
Ryan.
Talkie talkie. I'm trying to
Alex,
get
what
bang bang.
names?
I'm trying to bang bang.
Where did you meet this person?
You trying to come and go?
I met her. I met her when I was like 15 or 16, and we've just been friends for many years. She's like a punk rock girl.
So,
I'm a
so,
cis girl.
so you're trying to come and go? Ejaculate and evacuate?
I mean,
Cream pie and goodbye?
no.
Breed the seed and need for speed?
Oh, stop it, Calvin. You're making me uncomfortable.
Shoot the jizz and out you is?
Me welcome black in his. Kiss me brown black bahookie.
So you guys are gonna like Disney Plus and Thrust?
God, what the hell is Disney Plus? I keep seeing that shit everywhere. Okay, how the hell do I get out this bitch?
You don't.
Oh, wow. That's where you go. Okay. I'm done.
You are very dumb. This is a fact.
Well, I'm okay with that. Like I said, whole life just dealt with it.
Is her name Rachel?
Nope.
Rosaline?
Nope.
Rebecca.
I said Rebecca.
And who
Nope.
knows? You could come to know that.
I really do think that we've said it, he's just not confirming it.
Dude. Yo, that was so sick. That was so sick.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I like how you script that.
Oh, yeah.
It's very, very sensual from a guy.
Um, again, I'm trying to keep myself awake, so I'm playing a game. Won't say it because we're not sponsored by it.
Oh, you did. That's why you gotta come and go.
Stop saying that.
What's wrong with it?
Because that's really hoish, and I'm not hoe.
Fucking bastard.
You gotta embrace your inner man whore, man. You gotta cream pie and goodbye.
Oh my god.
Jizz the out you is.
You gotta ejaculate and evacuate, bro.
So are you guys telling me you do this?
Oh yeah.
Alright, we're changing this podcast up to training the weak-minded.
Trained to weak minded for what?
Well, tell me what I'm doing wrong. Help me get girls.
Have you sent her a dick pic yet?
Maybe. I won't confirm that.
Well,
She
that's
needs a magnifying glass.
what?
Oh wow.
Well, see,
Fuck
look,
you.
see, look. When you first start talking to a girl, right, and you're trying to get at her, and you know you got a big dick, you just send her one.
What's the problem? I don't got a big dick.
Damn. I don't know how to help you then.
I'm a fatty chunker.
See.
I hope that wolf burned it up because I wanted him to laugh really hard.
So you got a nice, so you got a thick 3-inch dong.
No, it's 8 when grown.
Then you have a big dick. Then that's why you send it to her.
Most days in like the 2 inch.
Most of the time it says a 2-inch. How can you have an 8 if it stays at 2?
Until I grow.
That makes no sense. What you just said.
I mean, if y'all want to see my dick, I could give it to you, but that'd be kind of weird because of my homies.
Kind of want to
Just
see it.
saying.
I've seen it.
Oh yeah, I saw your dick also in a damn fucking porno that you made with a partner you've had in the past.
Yep.
No, see, I've seen my sons on multiple occasions.
Those videos? Or did you delete them?
Guys, don't get rid of those videos, Alex. Just like we don't get rid of the pictures.
I mean, I got pictures of my ex-girlfriend still.
Same.
I mean, I don't know if you guys want to see it, but I'll send them. As long as it's not, I don't have my junk in the video, then we're good.
Who cares?
I share.
It's 2019, Alex. Who cares?
I don't want my dude to like. Well, we are going on tour, so yeah, time to get butt duty. Oh my gosh.
What do you mean we're going on tour?
Oh, I'm not allowed to speak of that. Sorry.
Why not?
You told me no promo.
No, I said you can plug, but you can't play. So plug away.
If that's the case, go follow Nostalgia X Files. Right there.
Where can I find you?
Instagram, Facebook. You know the thing.
And what is you?
What is you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what is you? What are you?
Like,
Where can I find you? And what is you?
you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Mixer, Blitzer, everything else on the top.
But
And Brendan fell asleep.
but what is you?
Well, you tell them, Calvin. You're also in the band.
Well, what I'm trying to get at here is
He played bass. He played bass. And he's really good. Come to our show. You can see it.
my point I'm trying to get at is what genre? Because people like genres. They like mumble rap.
We are
They like.
alternative. We are alternative, my friend.
Are we alternative though?
Yes, we are. We are trying to go grungy, but we stay alternative.
All right, and this has been the Broken Podcast. Well, not the Broken Podcast, that's a different podcast. We are the Banned Podcast, where we are trying our hardest efforts to get banned, along with our faithful sponsor, Pisswiser. When you want your piss to be wiser than you.
Pisswanza?
No, Pisswiser. So, everyone out there, look up some porn, grab some titties, and jack the fuck off.